So today we are talking about grief. We're talking about loss. We're talking about moving on after loss, regrets we have with those we no longer have or can contact. And we're doing all of that while still glazing Tatsuki Fujimoto. We're going to be talking about look back, so let's jump right in. So Look Back is a one-shot written by Tatsuki Fujimoto. The one-shot manga released in 2021 with a subsequent movie coming out in 2024. Yep. And it was astounding. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. I cannot glaze this thing enough.
And I didn't watch it until last night.
I actually had to leverage him. I was like, hey, buddy, Goodbye Eri did good for our numbers, so like let's lean in, and then he was finally like, yeah, I'll watch it because he'd read it.
Fine, I'll watch another Fujimoto project.
I know, right?
Twist my arm,
because it's not like we don't just constantly talk about how much blah blah blah. But Fujimoto's great. We love him. Look Back is if you are a fan of Chainsaw Man or Fire Punch, which shame on me, I haven't read. If that's what you're looking for with Look Back, you're wrong, because you're not going to get it. But no. It is a wonderful, wonderful piece of art. I honestly, generally, like, I'm like, hey, you should read the manga first, is my general vibe. But you could skip it. The movie does everything the manga does with music, with movement. I can't imagine a better adaptation, which I said probably about the Reize arc.
Yeah.
But like,
which might be a better adaptation.
Which might be, but like. I mean, really, it's like, it seems like, I think the Reize arc was such a good adaptation, and this is just me spitballing. There's no truth behind this, but there might be. I don't know. If I'm right, I'm right. Then I'm going to stand behind it. But if I'm wrong, yeah, I'm just spitballing. But I'm pretty sure the style and Look Back influenced the style change for Reize arc, which would make sense because like Look Back is page, like it's Fujimoto's art, page to screen.
With motion.
And when I first watched it, I really wasn't vibing. I was like, I'm not really in the mood for something sad, but it's like an hour long. And I was like, at the beginning of it, I really wasn't feeling super invested. And by the end, just an hour later,
it's weird to call an hour long project a slow burn.
Yeah, right. But like it kind of is, and it just works. You start out. So your main character, Fujino.
Yes.
Wait, is Fujino? She's the main character.
I would argue such.
And then Kyomoto is the...
Man loves the movie. Can't remember the names.
I'm really bad at some things. Okay, so Fujino... The whole series... First of all, spoilers. So the movie starts with... Fujino, and she just draws comics. It actually starts with one of her comics, and it's really funny, honestly. Yeah. It's just I think it's called Reincarnation is the name of the comic, and it's two people falling in love, they're dying, and they're like, hey, when you reincarnate, find me. And they're like, yeah. And then so it shoots forward, the girl has grown up, and then it turns out he reincarnated as an asteroid, and then so the asteroid has a face and is trying to kiss her. And then the world ends.
Honestly, that'd be such a good...
It's really a clever little for coma.
Yeah.
And so we get to know her. She comes off as very, I guess, I feel like kind of pompous in the beginning.
A little arrogant.
Yeah, arrogant's a good word. You know, people are like, oh, you're doing great. But like, she's a kid, you know? So it's like, I'm not, kids are kids, you know, you get a lot of praise. And even as she grows up, she still has a little arrogance. And I think that's something I really like about this movie is like, everyone feels pretty flawed in a lot of ways, and they just feel pretty genuine. And even if like you don't love the main characters, they work so well. And I imagine, okay, so it's Fujino,
yes,
and Kyomoto. So it's like I'm pretty sure it's just Fujimoto.
I'm assuming this is just Fujimoto's way of telling us he's actually two people working on a project.
two kids in a trench coat.
Exactly. Either that or it's like a Fight Club situation.
Oh yeah, where he's just got multiple personalities. I'm gonna go with Fujimoto as just two kids in a trench coat that just never grew up.
He's the Peter Pan of the manga world.
But I mean, this is he's two Peter Pans of the manga world. So the story does start out with Fujino. She's good at drawing, and then she ends up needing to take the paper to a homeschooled student.
Take a diploma.
No, the diploma's later.
Yes.
But
I'm jumping the gun here.
so the homeschool student starts drawing in the school newspaper as well. So Fujino's works have always showed up, and now
Kyomoto.
It was Kyomoto.
Kyomoto.
Okay, Kyomoto. So and then Kyomoto starts drawing, and she does mostly background works, and so it makes Fujino feel very less than.
Yes.
She gets very jealous. She gets very petty.
She's not used to having a competitor.
Yes, but like,
well, not even a competitor, just anyone sharing the spotlight.
Well, and that's a lot of what it is, and she is comparing two non-equal things because like the background drawings is one thing, drawing a story and everything, like they're just two completely different things. But she's really great at backgrounds, and she sees this, gets jealous, and then just dedicates to drawing, learns to draw better because she wants to be better. And I mean, I've always I feel like just a thing of life, like. Even like I'm a shit golfer, but like I will never golf better than when I'm golfing with someone who plays seriously. You know, like I mean, I was a decent golfer at barely decent at one point, but I was golfing like 5 days a week. But like just in general, when you're around people who are better than you or at your skill level, you tend to play better.
Yeah, they drag you up.
They do. They drag you up, and so it's such a good way of showing that, even without them contacting each other. It's just like the competition comes out, and even though it's unnecessarily, I love the phrase dragging up. And so she gets better and better and better, and then people are still just preferring, or they're less interested in her works, or they're not praising her as much. And then her family's like, hey, bro, what's wrong with you? Everyone's just like, hey, when are you going to start doing stuff that's not drawing?
When are you going to join my karate class because it looks good on your transcript?
Yeah, which is, I mean, valid. But but so it's just like she just keeps getting pushed back, even though she's putting everything she has into it. And she finally gives up. So flash forward to graduation. And when she's graduating, they ask her to take the diploma to Kyomoto. And I got there. And when she gets there, she knocks on the door, no one answers. She goes in, sees drawing books everywhere.
Dozens.
And then
just lining the hallways.
Sees a little 4-coma blank panel, and then draws a little comic saying, Kyomoto, come out. Kyomoto, stay in. And like the comic ends up being, it's just
Kyomoto's skeleton.
Yeah. And
just
it's
like in the...
and she won the, not hermit, but like the stay in person of the year
stay
award.
in person contest.
Yeah. And she drops it. It slides under the door, and then she books it. And then Kyomoto runs out and is just like, oh my God, are you Fujino? I'm such a big fan. And Fujino ends up like kind of playing it off. She's like, well, why did you stop drawing? And she's like, well, I'm working on a big project. Because again,
for a competition.
She's kind of arrogant. Yeah. And like, so she's just like, oh, no. I've been doing this the whole time. I'm great. And you think I'm great.
And Kyomoto's like, I'd really love to see it.
And she's like, I need a signature. I need an autograph. I don't have anything. Sign my back. And it's a cool scene. And the scene that follows is probably my favorite scene from it. And it's just like rage happiness.
The skipping.
Yeah. So it's just like she has. So Fujino has something that, I mean, like if you're reading her words, she says she doesn't even like doing, but like obviously it's a passion of hers that she has been convinced not to do. And for the first time in years, someone is just like, hey, you're my inspiration. Hey, what you're doing matters to someone.
And it's someone she saw as stealing the spotlight.
Yes. It was her competition. And she was just like, you're amazing. And so I just, for me, how this reads is just like, she was given the path to do what she wanted to again. And she's so excited. So it starts out with just a casual walk, and then she's skipping, and then
violently
it's raining.
Skipping.
She starts out like calmly skipping, and then she just like is violently skipping, and she's just like, and like kicking the water. And she's just like, she's so excited to like, it's just such a reinvigorating feeling.
It's a fun scene, especially when you compare it to the manga, because the manga is great. The manga is fantastic,
but it's much shorter.
And you don't get the whole picture.
Yeah. And it is one of my favorite scenes in anything. It's really uplifting. It's really feel good. And just like the idea of having, because like when you talk about grief and loss, like a lot of things that people don't think about or realize is loss, is like losing a job you love is a form of loss, and it's okay to grieve that. Like losing a relationship or losing a passion because people convince you not to do it. So it's just like to finally have that again, like that's, you just feel this scene, or I did anyway. And I just thought it was so moving, and it is just, that's when I was hooked. Like during that scene, I was just like, okay, this is kind of fire. This is lit. And then so after that, you kind of get like the fast forward of them working together on manga, and they actually submit it. So Kyomoto does the background, and Fujimoto does the story. Yeah,
there you go.
She does like the actual storyboarding, and then like the comic itself. And so they work together to put one together, and they pretty much send it into Shonen Jump. I think it's Shonen Jump.
Yeah, they actually have a meeting with it's basically Shonen Jump.
Yeah. I don't know if it is. It probably is Shonen Jump in the story.
When it gets published and they see that they've taken second place, it actually says like in the subtitles Weekly Jump. So I'm assuming.
Yeah. So and this is actually based off of what happened with Fujimoto. He got runner up for a one shot that he did when he was 13, and that's what they did. So when they were 13, they did a one shot. It got published for first runner up in Shonen Jump for a contest of up-and-coming storyboard artists or whatever, mangaka.
Yeah.
So like they're in. Like that is, you are in the big leagues. That is, you are going to be published as soon as you're out of high school. And so they're kind of both working towards that, and
they put out like
they get a bunch of money too. They get
$1 million yen.
$1 million yen, which is like,
we're not doing this.
We're not doing this. I looked it up at one point. I did look it up at one point, and so like I thought I'd come ready, but I think it's like 10 grand or something.
You can take your own time to look it up because exchange rates change.
I'm actually just going to put it here because Sean's lazy. I'll take care of it. It's fine. But nonetheless, so they got a lot of money, and you really get a lot of their character building, their character differences. I mean, it literally is a case of adopting a introvert.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
And so it's just the whole time Kyomoto is kind of not feeding off, but like she's letting Fujino's confidence just lead the way, you know? And so Fujino's just like, this is all good. This is fine. Stick with me and we'll be fine, until she decides she wants to be better. Because like in a later flashback, Fujino talks about, like, thinks back to a conversation they had where, Kyomoto is like unsure, and she's like, well, I'm too slow, and Fujino's like, well, you'll get faster.
Yeah,
I'm not good enough. And she's like, you'll get better. You just stick with me. But she internalized that as not wanting, well, she doesn't want to rely on anyone anymore. Yeah. She doesn't want to rely on Fujino anymore, and she decides she wants to go to art school. And Fujino's not having it.
Does not take this well.
She is not kind about it.
Nope.
It does such a good job of painting the picture that this is just pettiness. This is just, don't leave me. This is just like, it's not like, hey, you can't do this, even though those are the words she's saying. She's
Fujino
like,
just being super insecure.
And she's just, I just don't want you to do it. But the words she says is, you can't do this. And that's the last time they speak. Is her saying, you'll never be able to do this. You're not strong enough. You're not good enough, when she knows better. And she was just being selfish, which I feel like is a big part of her character. And it works. I mean, she's still, I still like her a lot. I think she's a great character. And I tend to surround myself with people who are pompous and arrogant and douchebags.
Oh, you had me up until the end. I'm all those things, but I'm not a douchebag.
Sure. No.
Shout out to you using the word pompous, though.
Oh, thank you. But no. So that's like the last time they speak, and then it kind of shows Fujino's success. Mm-hmm. They keep dropping her series is Shark Kick.
Yes.
Which is like Fire Punch, but it's Shark Kick, and every cover that they show is actually just a Shark Kick variant of Chainsaw Man covers.
Like even the spines are just the Chainsaw Man.
It's so good. There's so many nice little touches in here that it just bleeds Fujimoto. But like you see him piling up, and you can see that she's having success. She's dealing with the business part of like she can't find a good background artist or a good Assistant, yeah. And just a consistent assistant, and just kind of trying to work through that. And Then she sees, and this is based off of a real happening. On the news, the school that Kyomoto goes to was attacked. There are
12 dead,
3 injured.
Wounded. Yeah.
And so this is a real thing that happened.
And then she gets a call from her mom.
Yes. Well, she tries calling Kyomoto.
Yeah.
And she doesn't answer. Then she gets a call for her mom. And that, I'm going to throw it like right here. Her reaction page, just like how they change the coloring, how they dull out her eyes. Like you get the full impact of like getting that kind of news. Yeah. It just hits right. And so cut to Kyomoto's funeral. And then she ends up going to Kyomoto's house. Yep. And here's where it's just classic Fujimoto. Because like there's always... Sidebar. Okay, so my favorite thing about Goodbye Eri is how they explain it. Is that he always... that the kid filming, I already forget his name because I'm terrible with names.
I've also forgotten it, so no.
But
no
it's,
shame.
you know, when Eri is talking about why she loves his works, is because there's always just a hint of fantasy.
Yep.
And that's Fujimoto. He cannot do a grounded work without leaving it kind of open-ended. And to me, this is very open-ended. And I feel like I've seen some people argue, but I try not to read too much into other people's thoughts on...
Because Zach doesn't care about other people's thoughts. You heard it here first.
I've never cared, and I don't ever. But no, I interacted with this in the way that I wanted to, and I'm happy with how I left it. I mean, sometimes I do like to get a little more insight, but for the most part, like, I'm just really happy with this. So I don't need anybody else's insight. I'll just take it how I have it. But if you want to give me insight, please like, subscribe, and comment, because it's a really big help to us. If you like us at all, just giving us a little love goes a real long way.
Even if you don't like us, tell us we suck.
Yeah, actually, that's an awesome thing to do. I do it all the time.
He tells me I suck so often off camera. It's abusive.
I do it on and off camera.
I'm basically Kyomoto.
He actually is locked in my basement when we're not recording. It's damp. But yeah, so let us know what you think. Let us know if I should let Shawn out more. So please, like and subscribe. But Fujimoto always has that hint of fantasy. And so when Fujino gets there, she sees the comic she drew the first time they met. And she's like, why did I even do this? Why? I don't even like drawing. Why would I do this? And she rips it up. And I feel like you get like rapid fire the stages of grief.
Oh my God.
You know, like there was first the disbelief.
Yep.
When she gets a call.
Yep.
I don't actually know the stages of grief, but at this point she's mad and she's blaming herself, which is, I feel like...
Which is valid. No.
It is valid because it's human.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's easy to be like, but you know, when you look into the grander scheme, the only reason she died is because I drew this comic. You're really reaching, but you want blame. And especially when the last thing you said to your... Is this a sapphic story? I think they're just good friends, but I don't know if it's implied Yuri or what. But
I don't feel like it is, because when the subject matter is just drawing manga, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I never got a romantic vibe from it, but if there is one, feel free and let me know. But I never got a romantic vibe. But it's still just like when you've lost someone, and the last words you had were you being a dick. It's easy to want to blame yourself. Yes. And so that's what she does. She's like, this is all my fault, and this never would have happened. She tears it up. It goes under Fujino's door. It goes under Kyomoto's door.
And then you see it cuts to Kyomoto being alive.
Yes. So like backwards, rewind to the day before Fujino shows up to deliver the diploma. So Kyomoto picks up just a piece of the comic and doesn't know what it is. It's just not signed. She's like, what's up with that? It must be a ghost. No. And then so Fujino drops off the diploma at the front door and then just leaves. Kyomoto in this timeline just ends up going to school. Like instead of working with Fujino, she still does background art. She still goes to that same school. And the person still attacks. And you get to see the attack happening. When the guy shows up, Fujino never got back into manga, but she stayed with karate. So she ends up showing up, kicking the shit out of this dude, and she saves Kyomoto, hurting her back in the process.
Leg. She broke her leg.
Oh, was it her leg?
She broke her leg.
I literally just...
She kicked the guy so hard she broke her leg.
It's a great scene. I really like the manga panel of her throwing hands.
Oh, throwing up the peace sign in the ambulance?
No, that too. But like in the manga, when she kicks him and then she gets up and just like that stance. I don't know. I love it. So she kicks the shit out of him. She's in the ambulance. And then Kyomoto's like, I want to say sorry. Or I want to say thank you. Can I get your number? And so they click and she's like, are you the Fujino? She's like, what do you mean? She says Fujino senpai. She's like, what do you mean senpai? She's like, did you used to draw? Why did you stop drawing? And she's like, well, I actually just started again. Why don't you work with me when I'm serialized? And then so that timeline Kyomoto goes back and then draws a short where it's Fujino saving her.
Yep.
And then she says, if you're good, I'm going to leave then. And as she turns around, there's a pickaxe in her back. And the comic is called Look Back. And so she's looking at that and then drops it under the door. And Fujino picks it up, reads it, bursts into the room, and the room's empty. And she's left with the signed jacket. She's left with every copy of Shark Kick ever made.
Yeah, that whole montage of them like putting the things on the shelf was actually just Kiyomoto's.
Yeah. It was just Kiyomoto's shelf, and so it's like Kyomoto followed her works this whole time, even though
she was a dick to her.
Even though she sucked in that moment, because we can all suck in a moment. And after seeing all of that, she takes the comic with her, and she goes back to work. She had been on hiatus once she got the news, and then she just goes back to work. She takes the comic, that 4-koma that she picked up, and she hangs it on her window in her, honestly, like, really beautiful office.
Fucking dope ass office.
And then it's just her, like, the end credits is just her working. And I love that end credits. I let it run because it kind of lets everything sink in. Because there's a lot of emotion that happens in just that quick run. Something I really like is that neither in the manga or in the movie, she hangs it up, but they never show if she's just hallucinating. You know, if it's just a grief-driven...
nervous breakdown.
Kind of. Or even if she's just fantasizing it to try and, as means of trying to cope or things like that. I feel like there's speculation that, hey, maybe that really did happen, and that, you know, hey, I mean, if you want to introduce a multiverse, I guess you could.
Or shoot, you could say that entire thing was just a manga that Fujino was drawing the entire time. Yeah,
yeah, you could, couldn't you?
I don't think that's what happened.
I think that it's a blank piece of paper, and it's just the only way that Fujino, it's how Fujino found the will to move on. And I think like that's the hardest hitting thing for me about this is it's just like she's dealing with grief, she's dealing with how they departed, and like I feel like it shows that like she's going back to work in part because Kyomoto inspired that. Like, I mean, that's half the, like, she even says at one point, like, oh, hey, I didn't like drawing in the first place. Why would I even do this? And then it's the flashbacks of everything, like them spending time together. And so like the idea of her doing it in her memory is very sweet, but it's also just like, what do you do after loss? You know,
you can just have to
keep moving. Yeah. You know, it's like grief can hold you down, but at the end of the day, you got bills to pay. And that's kind of what hit me the hardest about this is it's just like, she just goes back to the grind. And it's heart-wrenching and it's heartbreaking and it's just a beautiful story. And I how they fit this in an hour
is
like, it's such a tight hour. Like there's not a single wasted moment. I don't think there's anything that happens that doesn't in some way add to the characters. Yeah. I think it is the most beautiful movie that's come out this decade. We'll say this decade.
As he looks at his imaginary watch.
Yeah. So like, if you point out a better example, like prove I'm wrong, point out a better example of a movie that's come out in the last decade better than this while you're there. Throw this up. All right. No, I'm done shilling, guys. I'm done shilling. But really, let us know what you thought of it. Let us know if this is even really your jam, because I feel like this is kind of a book that, like, if you don't generally read this sort of thing or watch this sort of thing, it still works. It's sad. It's really a hard watch that I've watched 6 times. It is actually I might have said this before, but I might not have, but like this is my litmus test for, am I still feeling human? Like, it's just like, I'll reach a point where it's just like, you just kind of, sometimes life wears on you. And sometimes it feels like, hey, maybe my emotions aren't working the way they used to. And then I'll throw this on. And then usually I'm like, nope, still not broke.
Still have emotions.
I ain't broke yet.
Emotions are terrible.
Emotions are terrible, but I love it. And I will never not love this movie. So I hope that if you've watched it, you enjoyed it. And if you hadn't watched it before us, you picked it up.
Just don't go in expecting Chainsaw Man.
Do not expect Chainsaw Man. Expect Shark Kick.
Man, I want him to make Shark Kick.
I would read the shit out of Shark Kick. You got anything else?
No.
All right. Well, hey, until next time, let's keep it low key, Weeds.
Boy.